Movies has always been an interesting part of U.S. culture, from their development, technology, and also their significance at the time. For example, when movies first got started, they were aptly named moving pictures because they were just that, moving pictures, run through a machine with light. And people at the time, since this was new, they were fascinated by this. While we may think, oh, well, it's just pictures, since we're used to these, like, grandiose, big budget effects, but that's what they had at the time. And these moving pictures first came out in the 1890s, and their purpose was just that, was again just moving images, like a train coming in shop, or the ocean, or the Atlantic, or maybe like a plant or something. Nothing really special, but it was entertaining. And these first films were primarily used by the Lumiere brothers, who created 15 to 30-second scenarios of these certain things. Thomas Edison. Meanwhile, again in the U.S., Thomas Edison was also preparing similar shows of these interesting scenarios, especially for things people have never seen. And after all this first phase happened, then we get into the second phase, which is the first really sign of the modern movie making, which is the story, what everything in the story filmed in the 1900s, which filmmakers decided to move beyond the technical aspects of just showing the motions and decided to actually tell a story with that. And one example of this is Edwin Porter's 1903 film, The Great Train Robbery. Another good example that also is able to use the effects that we know today is George Méliès' A Trip to the Moon. What another aspect is invented as people were telling these stories, they had to come up with different ways to tell. Going back to Méliès, the special effects, but there were also little camera work. And one thing prominent was the close-up to create drama. Aside from filmmaking itself, we now move into Hollywood in general. And this happened because people want to move from the east to more sunny weather, to places like Los Angeles and the rural areas would considered to be perfect for the type of weather in order to shoot. Granted, a lot of these films were shot inside studios, so it would make sense. And this was before that introducing the sound. Interesting enough, in the U.S., one of the first successful films, and kind of controversial, is A Birth of a Nation. And it had cost, also was all more easier to access to the middle class of the U.S. The higher class didn't really want to be associated with these middle class, so they kind of stayed away from these studio-owned theaters anyway. Another aspect of Hollywood as it progressed is the emphasis on stars. Today we see it very big, the whole appeal of a movie is just to draw in an audience based on who's actually going to be in there. And this started around the 1912. For example, one is Charlie Chaplin, famous for his role in The Tramp, as the Tramp in the early movies. And he was very popular, but his career disappeared kind of like after the Adventure of Sound. Like everything, like anything that's new technology, it had its bugs. For example, like the placement of the mic, you want mics to pick up on everything, so they had to hide the mic. They actually had to hide the camera in a separate room so the mic doesn't catch up on the sound the camera makes. But needless to say, not only did we lose actors that like were primarily American icons, but and then as years went on, the next major thing was the golden age of American pictures, where American attendance was steadily going up, and for good reason. Movies got a little bit better at that time, and they were primarily entertaining. And this is a tribute to the fact that around this time, the next major thing was the golden age of American pictures, where attendance was steadily going up, and for good reason. Movies got a little bit better at that time, and they were primarily entertaining. And this is a tribute to the fact that around this time there was depression and the wars going on, so basically people don't like to see something that's kind of depressing. So filmmakers Hollywood made more like entertaining, like non-realistic stories. And around this time also the people in Hollywood started making formulas like based on like what the audience would like. And as a reverse, movie attendance plummeted also. After World War I, movie attendance plummeted because again, things were were relatively better. Another aspect was introduced, the television, which we're also seeing like today. The television and DVR is kind of like slowly decreasing movies. That's why like movie productions has like 2 or 3 per week that hits theaters just to keep up those attendance.